Hello, hockey, basketball, and soccer fans. My name is David. Thought I would start this video at 11:36 on the evening of Thursday, 26th of September, 2024, Eastern Daylight Time. At 3:36 on Friday morning, on the relevant Friday morning of the same week, GMT. So I'm going to go through preseasons for Canada's NHL teams. There's no question all such teams except the Canucks have played at least 3 games. Canucks have played 2, and there's no question also that that of those teams, the Canucks and Flames haven't had too many issues scoring goals. Although there's also no question that the Canucks in their last game, which was a 4-3 OT win over the Flames, had tremendous difficulty keeping the puck out of their own net. Allowing 3 goals. The Flames end up dominating the Oilers, outscoring them in the Battle of the River games by a combined score of 12-4. 6-1 over at the Scotiabank Saddledome, and 6-3 at Rogers Place. I'll get to the Oilers in a moment, but there no doubt have been a lot of close games this NHL preseason. And you have to have the Canucks OT win over the Flames. All 3 games the Leafs have played have been 1-goal ones. Leafs having won 1 of them, 2-1 in regulation over the Habs. I have a 2-1 regulation over the Habs. I have posted a multi-tweet thread, which I outline various schedules for various Canadian NHL teams. I refer to various Wikipedia articles in that relevant Twitter thread. There's no question that there's some tight battles. Sens, all 3 of their games have been decided by 1 goal each. Played the Leafs twice, and they ended up losing a squeaker in OT to the Sabres, with coincidentally former Sabres goalies Linus Ullmark and Dustin Tokarski having tended goal against their for the Sens. So I'm going to go back to that. All right, where do we go here? Just going to go. So what I'm just going to do is just going to recap the game here. I believe Linus Ullmark stopped all but one of over 30 or so shots that he faced. Yes. So yeah, I'm just gonna try to just gonna call up there. Okay, let's see here. Oops. All right, just sorry for technical difficulties. I just wish I could get this there. So yeah, so I'm just gonna go to. So in terms of the Sens, it was overall. Yes, it was. Yes, Linus Ullmark stopped all but 1 of 29 shots that he had faced. Dustin Tokarski didn't fare quite as well, having stopped 83 1/3% of the shots that he had faced, 10 of 12. Yeah, I'd say that neither of the goals Tokarski allowed was a pretty one. Both were ugly ones. But again, I'm not sure what the Sens are going to do. But again, it was a close game, a close battle. And you look at the Ontario teams. Sens are unbeaten in regulation. Leafs have earned half the available points. The Habs lost a close game to the Leafs, 2-1 regulation. And yeah, I mean, I know the Habs have one more game against the Leafs this preseason. They'll be hosting the Leafs on the Saturday Eastern Daylight Time. Yeah, there's no question that there's the battles for spots also getting ready for the regular season. And yeah, I mean, see the Habs, Canucks and Flames haven't had very many issues scoring goals. I mean, at least in two games, at least 2 games in each. And Canucks, Canucks is also quite strong. Winnipeg Jets have been kind of in the middle. One win, one regulation loss, an overtime loss. Close, it was a blowout win over the Oilers. A 3-goal loss to the Minnesota Wild. And a close loss to the Oilers. Yeah, the Winnipeg Jets have a lot to prove this season. So yeah, it's going to be some battles for roster spots. Kaapo Kähkönen having allowed multiple goals in a loss to the Wild, but having pretty much stood his ground against the Oilers in a 6-1 win. There's no question that when it comes to the Canadian teams, the Oilers have a lot to prove. Indeed, it's for them cup or bust. Certainly, I mean, there's definitely going to be some cuts, and of course, the regular season, I mean, maximum roster size is 23 per team. And there's no question that the Leafs and the Leafs and Winnipeg Jets also had underwhelming postseasons last season. Winnipeg Jets have allowed 4 more goals over 9 straight playoff games. Although the Leafs have arguably had much better defense than the Jets, the Leafs lasted 7 games and had trouble scoring goals. And it's going to be interesting to find out what happens to this Leaf team, whether scoring goals is something that it will manage to do. In preseason play, the Leafs have only managed to score 3 or more goals in one of the games. So maybe that momentum against the Habs will propel the Leafs to start winning games and have strong momentum into the regular season. I mean, obviously, preseason play only means so much, but certainly there are plenty of players Leafs have who are on the bubble. It'll be interesting to find out what happens. There's no question that the Leafs, there will be battles for roster spots. Certainly, in terms of those Canadian teams, yes, when it comes to the Oilers, it's been 3 games in a row of 6 goals allowed. Yeah. If I'm an Oilers fan, is there reason to be concerned? The Only TV YouTube man put out a video and claimed that certainly discussed the Oilers preseason, and there's no question that the Oilers have had trouble keeping the puck out of their own net. And yes, again, the regular season, it may be that the Oilers will be just fine. But what if there are injuries? What if there are multiple injuries? Evander Kane will be out likely until sometime January at the earliest. But who knows? Do the Oilers have the depth? If they are ravaged by injuries, it's hard to know. I mean, the prospect pool is not great, and indeed, which reiterates that this season, like last, is a cup or bust one. But for how much longer the Oilers will have the depth on their NHL roster and in their farm system to go for that Stanley Cup, well, Who knows? It's going to be interesting what happens. Also be interesting what happens to the Canucks with roster changes of their own, including such departures as that of defenseman Nikita Zadorov and forward Elias Lindholm, having gone the Bruins' way, but some ex-Bruins the Canucks acquired last offseason. Comes to the Calgary Flames. It's going to be first full season without either Chris Tanev or Nikita Zadorov. And yes, the Flames have done quite well, being their Alberta cousins in each of the preseason games. And the Flames came close to beating the Canucks. It was an overtime loss, but still. That game also exposed defense that might be an issue. I mean, it's hard to know how the Flames are going to do this during the regular season. Last regular season, the Flames came nowhere close to a playoff spot, so it'll be interesting to find out what happens. And now I'm going to go with the Oilers, and yes, it's cup or bust for them. Discussed that before. Winnipeg Jets, well, can they win a playoff series? They've only won one since their 2018 conference final appearance. And it's about the culture. I mean, and when I look at cities that have been plagued by crime issues or metro areas, Philadelphia has been, the LA metro area has been for quite some time. The Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area has been. Yes, the Kings have made the postseason. I mean, fans still go to what was once the Staples Center, now known as Crypto.com Arena. I mean, the Dallas metro area has been plagued by crime issues, and yet there's still fans go to the Dallas Stars games. And when it comes to it also comes to the Oilers, so it'll be interesting to find out what happens during the regular season. Winnipeg Jets end up seeing playoff action and how far they get. The Leafs have something to prove. It'll be a question of if enough members of the Matthews, Marner, Nylander, Morgan Rielly, Tavares quintet will step up key situations, but also outside of that quintet, who's going to step up? Nick Robinson scored what would turn out to be the game-winning goal against the Habs, 2-1 win in regulation. Yet again, the Leafs have had trouble scoring goals in postseason games, so it'll be interesting to find out what happens, particularly when the Leafs play teams that last season saw playoff action and end up still being in the mix for playoff spots. Then look at the Sens, and yes, this season is for them postseason or bust. I don't know of any Sens fans who want a repeat of the Oilers' so-called decade of darkness, but as far as we know, it may very well be that way, unless the Sens manage to somehow turn things around and carry that momentum from preseason play into the regular season. Indeed, so far for the games they played, into the next set of games. Sens will not face the Leafs again until the regular season. So what we're going to go is so what it's going to do is it's going to go to the Leafs schedule game because of the Wikipedia. The Leafs have a bunch of games, so I'm just going to, while I wait for that, I'm going to go with the Habs. I'll come back to the Sens a little bit later, but the Habs certainly have something to prove. Even if they don't see playoff action, certainly the Habs, I'm sure Habs fans will want to see some progress. I mean, perhaps finishing above dead last, so they're not, in the basement, and it'd be a sign of progress of some sort. But the question is, which team will end up finishing last in the Atlantic Division if the Habs don't? That's going to be a key question. And I'm just going to, just doing so at the moment, just trying to... So it's going to go to, where do I go here? Oops. So it's going to go to the Atlantic Division. So the Sens, this regular season, will be playing the Leafs. Will be playing the Leafs at Scotiabank Arena on the 12th, Eastern Standard Time. Late in January at Canadian Tire Center, and then in mid-March at Scotiabank Arena. So 3 games the Sens play against the Leafs. Will the Sens repeat last regular season how well they did? It will be important. If the Sens can do that, can earn 6 points, that may very well be the difference between getting into the postseason and missing. I'm not going to say that the Leafs are the Sens are going to, blow the competition away. The Sens last regular season only earned 3 points out of a possible 32 in Western Conference arenas. Against Atlantic Division opponents, the Sens did remarkably well. So it's going to be very interesting to find out what happens. Obviously, the Sens have a lot to prove. Is it going to be a postseason appearance or a bust? It'll be very interesting. Under new management, changes the front office. Pierre Dorian just was not a very good GM. And even if it hadn't been for the trade that the Vegas Golden Knights had hoped to make of winger Evgeny Davdonov going the Ducks' way, it still was set. Dorian's tenure overall was more a disaster than anything else. Sens came nowhere close to a playoff spot last season. Unlike in the previous season, before that. So very interesting. And again, we have to note that preseason success is not necessarily the best indicator of regular season success. I can say, last preseason, the Sens had an amazing 6-2-0-0 win regulation loss, OT loss record. The Raptors had a 4-0 win-loss record. Perfect preseason. But when the regular season started to roll around, things started off poorly for each of the Sens and Raptors. And it's going to be interesting to find out what happens to both of those teams. And if the Raptors are going to take a step forward in their rebuild, particularly following trades last regular season of Pascal Siakam and OG Anunoby. And that will be interesting to say the least. So, as I end this video, I do encourage anyone who liked the video to click that like button and to subscribe to the channel to subscribe. Subscribing is totally free, and it helps spread word about videos I make, mainly about Canadian hockey and basketball teams, to the wider YouTube community. I try to put out videos, whether short or long ones, multiple times a week. And with the NHL's regular season almost here and preseason well underway, I've got to say, with respect to teams which I cheer, go Leafs go Raptors go Toronto FC go, and with respect to other Canadian national teams for which I cheer, including the World Juniors team, slated to to spend the Western Christmas to New Year's period in southeastern Ontario, hoping to improve upon a quarterfinal defeat in the most recent past tournament. Go Canada, go.